Hey there everyone, Paler here, and welcome back. Today we are going to be, I guess previewing is the correct term, previewing Planet Coaster. This one has some odd backstory we gotta fill out first. So before we go in too far, the footage you're gonna be watching in the background is just me messing around in the sandbox. This is from the beta. Now, it's beta the same way Battlefield does beta, right? It's actually less than that even. The game actually launches on Thursday. And this footage, this beta went live last Thursday. So basically they have like a 7-day, it's almost more of a soft launch period is what they're doing. Where if you had pre-ordered the game, you got into this and then they could see if, there's any major problems going on. But the game's out on Thursday, it's out in 3 days. There's not going to be any big changes going on. What we see here is going to be mostly what we're going to see in the launch of the game. This is going to be pretty indicative of how the game is going to run and everything. Now, I do think they are holding back some some assets, I think is the correct term. So this is a roller coaster tycoon game, and we're going to have to hit that subject too. Give me a moment there. There's only 3 bathrooms. I'm assuming that at the final launch of the game, there's going to be a dozen different types of bathroom. There's only a handful of restaurants and food vendors and merchandise vendors here, and there's only like 20 different smaller rides and 8 different larger roller coasters, though you can create your own custom ones. I just think that is what's being held back in this beta. So this beta that I'm talking about here, that I'm showing, performance-wise, it's going to be pretty indicative of the game, how the feature set works, so the placing, the construction, the modeling, all of that is pretty much in place. You're just not going to be seeing all the individual assets that go on in the game. So, as I just hit a second ago, this is a roller coaster tycoon, air quotes, knockoff. It's not really a knockoff, though. This game is going to draw quite a few similarities between, it and Roller Coaster Tycoon are going to draw a lot of similarities between City Skylines and SimCity. So, I don't remember which one was actually announced first. It might have been Planet Coaster, it might have been Roller Coaster Tycoon, I'm not entirely sure. But there is a new Roller Coaster Tycoon world coming out. And when that was first revealed, the general consensus from a lot of people was it didn't look very good. Graphically, it looked like something from 1998, 2002 at the latest. It just didn't, visually, it looked low res. And then there was some type of alpha or beta, and people came out of it and they're like, wow, this is not really good. Well, around that same time, Planet Coaster was revealed. Planet Coaster has had a much more transparent development cycle as it's gone on. They've been putting out quite a few videos, but they've also had different alpha builds and beta builds that different YouTubers have been playing. And while obviously they're kind of promotional type things, you could very clearly see when these people sat down and played with it, the mechanics at work and how they functioned. And when you saw it on Roller Coaster Tycoon World, they didn't seem to function all that well, seemed to be very limited. And then when you saw them on Planet Coaster, they seemed to be functioning quite well. So there's kind of been this back and forth develop between the two of them. Then Roller Coaster Tycoon World kind of went silent. Planet Coaster then announced their release date of this coming Thursday, which I think is the 17th. Well, some 10 days before the launch of this game, so 7 days ago, all of a sudden Roller Coaster Tycoon World, boy, too many coasters. 7 days before the launch of Planet Coaster, Roller Coaster Tycoon World comes back and says, oh, we're launching on Wednesday, where Planet Coaster launches on Thursday. So there's some pretty silly things going on here. The cynic in me and the realist in me says this. Roller Coaster Tycoon World probably is a broken mess. Atari knows this. They've already invested money into it, so what they're trying to do is they're going to launch the day before in the hopes people will log into Steam, look at the name, see Roller Coaster Tycoon World, and buy it without really knowing. And then the next day, the better game is going to come out, and Roller Coaster Tycoon World is probably a broken mess, and yeah, they're throwing it out there, trying to recoup as much R&D as they can before they basically have to probably kill off the Roller Coaster Tycoon license. That's just speculation. It seems realistic to be what's going to happen. I'll update next week. This weekend, we'll see how Roller Coaster Tycoon World turns out, but I don't think it's going to be very good. Okay, so let's focus now. Let's talk about what actually we have here at Planet Coaster. And before I go much further into this, I got to say, I'm going to have a tough time sounding excited about this game because I've discovered this genre is probably not for me anymore. So what I've played, and I've played about 3 hours, I've thought is very good. I thought, for the most part, mechanically, the way it functions, the art assets, the design, the core concept decisions they've made, I think are all overall really good. I haven't come across anything that was like, that's a problem, this is a mistake. Yet I've not had a whole lot of fun with it. And I don't think it has anything to do with the game. I think just me as a gamer, as an adult now, I've changed for my taste on these type of things. While in the back of my mind, there's a little bit of nostalgia for Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, I think. It might have been 2. And that's what triggered me to buy this. When I actually sat down and played it, it was just kind of like, I'm going through the motions. And it's kind of cool. But for the most part, I spend most of my time riding around on the roller coasters in third-person view or first-person view on the roller coasters, just because that seems to be the most enjoyable part of it for me. So that right there pretty much is going to summarize most everything what I'm going to say going forward here. Mechanically, functionally, Planet Coaster seems great. And if you're someone that really loves Roller Coaster Tycoon and you're looking for a modern version of that, I wouldn't say run out and buy it right now because we are in the middle of the holiday release schedule and it's going to be going for $40. And that's pretty expensive for a very niche game. But definitely put this on your watch list and keep an eye on it. I'll explain more as we go on. But for me personally, like, I'm just kind of, I don't know, it didn't scratch that itch, or I didn't have that itch that I thought I did, I think is more what it is. I thought there was an itch for it. I thought I'd sit down at this and I would be right back into that time period where I loved this type of game and was just going at it. And I just think I'm now a different person where my tastes, at least for right now, are different and I'm not looking for this type of thing. But that's all on me. Again, I have no real complaints about about Planet Coaster. I'm gonna screw the names up some more. Let's talk about the game itself. So within the beta, everything seems to be functional from a mechanical standpoint. You can go ahead, you can lay out your park, you can do all the basic planning. So the game has 3 game modes. First, there are particular scenarios. These are going to be like, you're going to get a park that's already partially built or maybe even fully built, and then they're going to give you some type of challenges within those to complete. So they'll either limit how many people you can bring into your park, or you can only spend so much money, or you can only have so many amusement rides and you have to make a certain amount of profit, so you kind of have to min-max in certain areas. So those are going to be the challenges. Then there's going to be normal mode. I forget what it's actually called, but this is where you get basically a blank slate to start off with, almost like a sandbox mode, but you only have a certain amount of money. So you place down a few $100,000 worth of rides, you start making revenue, you use that to research new rides and new facilities, and then you expand and you add on your park, and your park grows as your revenue increases. That's going to be your primary mode. And then what you're seeing in the background is sandbox mode, where I have unlimited money. Everything's just unlocked from the start. I was using this just to learn and to test the game and see how it goes. So those are your 3 game modes. Now, you have different ways of doing assets. So there's both pre-designed assets and there's also customized assets that you can do. So throughout what you're watching in the background is almost all me doing pre-designed assets. I'm just going through, I'm looking at, all right, I need to put down a bathroom here, and this park over here, the park is all kind of princess, kingdom, fairy tale land. So I'll look for the fairy tale themed bathroom. And then over here, this is the pirate side. So I'm looking for the pirate themed bathroom. And then this restaurant here is going to be going back here towards the roller coaster side or the more futuristic side of the park. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just going through and I'm picking from the pre-designed assets, plopping them down wherever they go, or wherever I think they'll go, turning them on and messing around with them. Now, beyond that, there is a full, almost AutoCAD style system in this. So you can, beyond these buildings, you can customize and build your own buildings. Put up walls, place the walls, cut the lengths of them, add walls, add awnings, add different decorations, windows, doors, all of that stuff. There's just basic geometric shapes that you can use, and you can change the color of them, the transparency of them, the size of them, to make some really fantastical things. I haven't dove into this at all, so I can't really comment on this. I will say there is an actual really good YouTuber out there. I forget his name. Just go out and search Planet Coaster. You're going to see he's going to be the most popular ones. But this guy, like, he's just terrific with this stuff. He sits down, and in the matter of like 10 minutes, he's built some pretty damn crazy like tower or castle structure, and it's got all these different features and great little details that I would never even consider putting in. So there is a lot of detail in there. That's within the structures. You then can also create your own roller coasters like you would expect. You can take it and you place down the starting ramp or whatever it is, the launch pad area, run the hill up, run the hill down, and you can build and create out your own roller coasters also, as you'd expect. From what I can tell, there's no way to create your own like smaller rides, like your Ferris wheel, merry-go-round, teacups. I don't think there's any way to create those, but the roller coasters, the log flumes, the trains, things like that, you can custom design your own. Paths, buildings, and all that, you can custom design your own. And then the middle ones, the smaller rides, you can't actually do that. So there's quite a bit of variety there. Here's where the second biggest strength I think of this game is going to come from. And this is another one that goes back to City Skylines. They've built in, right now, already working, Microsoft Steam Workshop support. So similar to City Skylines, where someone comes along and they create a new building or new texture for a building or rework how something functions in the game and whatever, you just go into the Steam Workshop, click download, boom, it's installed, and you're ready to go. This is going to mean there's going to be a lot more rides. If you're someone like me that just doesn't have the patience to dive into it and create your own roller coaster more than once or twice and then you're done with it, well, I can just go over to the Steam Workshop and give it a few days, and there's going to be tons of roller coasters and rides and buildings and stuff. I'm just like, all right, I want that, download, boom, come in the game. And there's going to be almost unlimited content for this as long as the game maintains some level of interested player base. So that's going to be a real big strength for it. Beyond that, let's see here. There is basic terrain sculpting also, so you won't really see this until maybe at the very... I'll edit it in right here. I make a lake, and then I try to make a waterfall. So in order to try to make a waterfall, I raise this big like plateau of land, and then I try to put a bowl in the top of the land that I raised up with a low point for the water to flow over. But when I put the water in, it doesn't go high enough. I couldn't figure it out. Maybe there is a way to make it, but I don't think they have like water flow physics in the game or anything like that. So I don't think you can do that, but you can sculpt, you can add land in, raise, lower. I don't think there's tunnels, at least not that I've seen, though at least this is beta, maybe that will be in the full launch of the game. But I haven't seen any type of tunnels, anything like that, which was something that was in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, I think? Yeah, doesn't really matter. So there are some small things that I think this game is missing that could be added in. You know, being able to create water features would be really kind of cool, but it's definitely not a game breaker. Being able to run roller coasters underground, which again, maybe you can, maybe I just haven't figured that out. I've played for 3 hours, would be cool. But overall, yeah, like there's nothing that I've played that was like, this is terribly broken. The game seems to be lining up to be pretty darn good if you're looking for this type of game. As I've said pretty clearly now, apparently I thought I was, but I'm really not. I will say they're charging $40 for it, and this is like my fourth recording of this, so I don't remember if I've actually stayed this or not yet. Forgive me. Right now is a bad time to be launching a very niche game at that price tag. You're almost at the full AAA price tag. Very niche, very competitive time of year. I think the price tag is too much. If you're someone that's really into these types of games, I think you can likely pick up Planet Coaster without any fear. The game, unless I'm completely off and the build we have right now is nothing like the build that's going to be available on Thursday in 3 days, it's functionally running really well. There was one little hitch I was having where every once in a while, especially when you were riding on one of your own rides, the video would hiccup for just half a second. It would hiccup. And then you would go again for another 20 seconds and hiccup. that was actually fixed. So I recorded some footage, I went and got lunch, came back an hour and a half later, started playing again, and during that time there was a 3+ gig download patch, and since then that hitching doesn't seem to happen. So they seem to have realized what that was. They fixed that hitch. Yeah, I think it's pretty darn promising. I think there's a good chance that we have a very high quality Roller Coaster Tycoon-like game here. It's just not the one with Roller Coaster Tycoon in the name. I do own it now, so when it does go live on Thursday, I'll play it a bit this weekend and I'll update later on. I just wanted to get a video out there though, as it's been a little while. It's been a little drought on my channel because I was out of town for a week, and then last week, I don't know, I was just kind of not into it. Plus, I've been unable to really put together any Battlefield 1 footage because my Battlefield 1 game crashes all the time on me. So, yeah, that sucks. Alright guys, well that's a preview of Planet Coaster. I think it's got some real promise here. I just don't think it's the type of game that I really want anymore. It's nothing against the game. I think it's just not my taste anymore. There you go. Until next time, this has been Power. Thanks for watching.